Welcome to the Active Trader Setups Tutoring Reference Series, where we'll be reviewing charts and exactly tutoring you on how to set those charts up from scratch, what the indicators are on each chart template that's shown over on our Trader Members site under Products. So you go to tradermembers.com, click on the Products tab, and we have the page set up for our members, as well as it's open to the public if you want to learn more about our charts. We have each chart outlined, each template. We have a different section for the futures charts, and we're taking each chart one at a time and showing all the indicators that are on the chart, telling a little bit about what they tell you, showing you where the scanners are located to scan for the inflection points that are shown on these charts, as well as at the very end of each of these reference tutoring videos, we will have a step-by-step instruction of how to create this chart from scratch with a new chart, starting with the data series and then loading the template. That'll be in about the last 5 minutes of each of these videos. That'll be shown right above the chart template on the page, and this will be the name of the video on the YouTube site that's shown right below the chart template on the page. So it's Products page at tradermembers.com. That's open to the public as well. So you want to remember this if you're having to reconstruct a chart, or you want to place a chart into a workspace you already have open. You don't have that chart there and you need to build it because you want to start using it in your workspace that you've already got created. You'll go over, find this video, just fast forward over the last 5 minutes, and it'll show you how to create each chart from scratch. And be sure to watch on our YouTube channel. We got the Active Trader Setups Trading Setup Series that's coming out 3 and 4 times a week, where we're reviewing actual charts from the day, that's using the chart and the indicator setups that are on that chart to use practical application of the indicators on the charts, how you're going to read them and how you're going to react and trade to them. That's an ongoing series for our clients to learn from, as well as our guests to learn more about our trading package. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and be watching for that series multiple times a week. This video is brought to you by Active Trader Setups Trading Package, a day trader setups company. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're here, and go over to daytradersetups.com. You can find out more about our package under our features area, our registration area, as well as our education and training. We have a YouTube channel page that has links to various videos as well. And then you can go over to our members site. It's called tradermembers.com. Go to the products page, and we have a full listing of reference materials for our traders to access, but this page is open to the public. It goes over each of the charts and what they have on them, the indicators, the indications, how to scan for those, and so forth. This is chart template name ATS Cloud VL. And we actually named the template 0 ATS Cloud VL. And the reason we did that is so that when you're loading the template, it comes up in the top of the list. Because these are alphabetic. First, they're numeric, 0, 10, 15, 25. And we want them to be at the top because these will be the ones you have to reload the most often, because they've got more data flowing into them and they'll get out of whack more often, and you need to reload the template. And we've shown in some previous videos how you can take the template when it's you can tell it's out of whack and right click and duplicate in a new tab. Many times that'll load everything back in and fix it. The first process you always want to use is press F5, which reloads the script. If that doesn't fix your chart, do a right click down here and duplicate in a new tab and see if that fixes your chart. And then if that don't, you may have to reload the template, which if your chart's still there and it's got the information, it's just jumbled and not properly calculating, and you can just look at it, you'll know. Then you don't have to build it from scratch. You just strictly can right click and go to load and reload that template. 0 ATS Cloud VL and VLST are your two templates, and there's two different kind of clouds. And I'm going to try my best not to get into teaching the cloud and stay on task for showing you the templates. These are very similar chart setups. We'll have another one on the VLST, and it's a different plot. Pretty much has the same information as far as the indicators that are loaded on the chart as the VL. It has a different cloud settings. You know, we didn't invent the Ichimoku Cloud, but we did take our algo chart plot and systematically go through some tests and sync this into optimal settings. And then we created our clouds, and most clouds do not allow you to look back. They plot the cloud, most cloud indicators, they plot the cloud, and here's the cloud, and you can see where it rejects and so forth, but it's no good to you if you can't scan for it. And that's why we actually named our indicator the DTS, for Day Trader Setups Ichimoku Cloud Scanner, because we created the ability to offset these lines and then go back and scan for them. You'll use the VLST more in your swing trading, and they're referenced, both charts can be referenced when you got a stock that's moving a lot. And the only thing I want to show you that's synced up between the two, and then I'm going to get back to the VL, is this white line, 237.48 on this VLST cloud. These pictures were made the same day. And the VL cloud, the yellow line will always be equal to the white line on the other chart. So they are in sync to a point. Now let's look at what is in this chart, all the different indicators and the settings. First of all, you got two plots on this chart. Our wick bar is used for working and trading the levels that are created by the algo bar. That's the purpose of the wick bar, to create the bar chart trader from, to see the reversal candles, to see the choppiness when you get in those areas. The STSAlgo we've had for 2 years. We started out with our trend shift pivot line, and then as I watched when we would be breaking up and then we would fail, I wanted an edge on why are we failing. And I had traded the cloud many years ago on different chart levels, standard candlesticks, and so I pursued that as something to look at. And then when we got to syncing it in with our STSAlgo, plotting it with our algo plot, realized how really in sync it is and how great a tool it was. And that's when we pursued developing our own cloud that you can go back and do the scanners that we create and the plots that we create you don't see on other clouds. We didn't reinvent a wheel, we just reapplied it. And you're going to have the same settings when you load them up. The ATS Wick-Algo set to a 25 brick when you got a STSAlgo set to a 25 factor. This can be changed. The STS, both of them can be changed. They need to remain the same. So if you're using a smaller ATR stock and you want to apply the cloud to that stock, you can have a 10. And it will be more reactive to the lower ATR stock. The other features that are on this chart, listed at the bottom here. The upper chart, we already discussed the 2 plots. Power Momo chart is the yellow and blue lines we've seen before. They're overlaid on the chart. If you want to turn those off, you just strictly click the visible check mark and you can remove those, and we'll show you that. The STZ markers are up in this corner. We've discussed them before. We'll discuss them in more detail here in just a moment. And the last zone, which is set to not visible, we covered that a lot in one of our previous videos, which was this video on a 3-data algo inflection. That last zone was shown on this chart. The last zone has to do with the green and red line. And this is a fairly lengthy video here because it was one of the first template videos we did, and we covered a lot of information that's used in other charts. So that's a good video to watch about the last zone. We only briefly mentioned it in this video because this one's got a lot more things that need to be discussed. And then we have our trend shift pivot zone, which is your red and green line. Our projection that projects this, we've discussed that a lot in the 3 algo data template video as well. And then we have our DTS Ichimoku Scanner VL Cloud. That's what we're loading here, the ATS Cloud VL chart. We have our key level markers, which was also discussed. Those are the arrows you'll see, and we'll explain how those work in more detail in multiple videos that are covering this cloud. And then the ATS reversal indicator, which is nothing but the blue diamond reversals that plot the doji candles that indicate reversals on the charts. Now you can turn those off once you learn. They're used a lot to create trades, but once you learn that they're only there to bring your attention to the doji candles, you can turn that to invisible or not visible and get that out of your way. And the lower chart indicators, the STS Edge, this is about the only place this appears. It has to be ran on the Algo bar as well, and it gives you a little different look than the force indicator. The force indicator is also down here plotted along with the volume alert. We don't actually have the volume on this, trying to keep it as tight as possible on taking up window space. So we'll get into looking at this in a little more detail. First thing I want you to look at is here's the 25 Algo ATS Wick-Algo VL chart, and we don't have to look at the VLST. We discussed that a little bit. This is the Algo 50 STS VL chart. They are the exact same template. Only thing that's been changed is the settings of the input bar. The bigger the bar, the further back you're looking in creating your support and resistance areas. And you can see this covers multiple days. So the bigger the factor input you put on this chart, it's like looking at a daily chart compared to a 15-minute chart. It's going back further, and the bigger the ATR stock, the more you need to look at the bigger factors when you're trying to look at a multi-day trade, or even something like Tesla intraday trading. The 50 bar Has a lot more risk, of course, but you probably can't trade Tesla on a 25 algo setting. So that's why you have the bigger settings that don't, nothing any different. You can see the projection charting shown here. And we teach about the trend shift. This one has no trend to be shifting. It's just been chopping sideways, red to green, red to green, red to green. But the indicator still plots, and we talk about that plot a lot as well in the 3 algo setting. This video, Tutoring This Chart, talks about that as well. This video is about an hour long, and that's the reason it's an hour long. It's your first introduction to many of these indicators, and so there's a lot of time spent talking about in that video. Again, we're going to try not to get too detailed into those things we've already covered, and I'm just trying to show you where to learn more about what's going on there. So this choppiness lets you know that this is no value to you at this point. So now I'm going to break this out, and we're going to get it a little bigger. I'm going to duplicate it in a bigger window so we can take a good look at it. Take a look at the bottom of the chart first, just because we're not going to spend a lot of time here. This is the force indicator that's being plotted on the algo. We talk about it in some other videos, and we'll have how we use that in some of the automated settings as well in other videos. And then at the bottom you got this ATS volume alert, 5-bar high dotted, 10-bar high bar solid. That's up bars. These are down bars. Dotted line for down 5-bar high volume, 10-bar high volume. And it's looking back at all volume bars, up or down, to create the 10 high or the 5 high bars. That's a visual for you to pick up that right here you had a big volume bar on this reversal, greater than the last 5 bars. And this is running off the wick bar. So here's the last 5 bars. This is the biggest volume bar, and it turned it back up. That's what that's for. This edge was developed to get where you would have the force really strong, and then to just pick up another level of strength that's hard to get it here. So it was something that was and sometimes it just comes in and goes back out. It doesn't stay strong for multiple bars. But sometimes once it gets there, what I like to use it for is if I'm getting a bounce in price, but I'm not getting an increase in this, like right here. This had worked its way up initially, not a lot actually. During this uptick right here, which was very early in the morning, it didn't gain any strength, and then finally it got a movement here, and as it fell back down, this wasn't falling, so it wasn't a strong move down, and then it bounced off this cloud line, and when it turned, it still didn't get a lot of strength back up. It kind of stayed the same, so it's like you're not as strong right here. So since it's not building a lot of strength here, put your doubts in this trying to do a breakout, and then sure enough it rolls over, and as soon as it starts rolling over and you get this first algo pullback on the dots, which is part of this box right here. We also discuss that box in great detail on that 3 algo setting video as well. So there's a lot of indicators you're starting to see here that were covered in that first video. The reversal here on the edge, you see now that the reversal bar came in and we got this first dot plotted down here. That's when this blue shifted to yellow and it started down. So you got a weaker part right here than you had on any of these other moves back here. You also had on this reversal, blue diamond reversal, the doji bar on our all-week chart, a 10-bar high volume. So it gave a strong assertive reversal, it was not the point of the force going from green straight to red. That happens sometimes too. You'll be green here and red here. We've talked about that in some other videos. That will be covered extensively on a video dedicated to the force 1. But that wasn't the case here. But your edge gave you a little insight that this is rolling over stronger now. You got some volume this time. This is working its way down. So you gain in strength as you came down. You picked up another 10 bar high volume right here. Well, you're only looking back. This is 1 bar, 2, 3, 4. This is only 5 bars later that you got a new 10 bar high. So you had a higher volume than you had here on the reversal. They're coming into this cloud and they're pushing it harder through there. And then it continued on down. It broke the cloud, which is a support area. But what's going on with the cloud is what you'll learn more in the cloud trading is this blue line has crossed this yellow dotted line right here, which means that out to your right, this is where the cloud is shifting and twisting down. When the blue dotted line here crosses the yellow dotted line represents this cloud out to your right. That's exactly where the cloud was at that time, was right here. And this is the blue line crossing the cloud. So right here where this cloud was at the time, you were right here. So it was starting to go negative. You broke down through the bottom of the existing cloud, which is a support area. And then you got another 5 bar high volume came in. So it might not have been as high as this one, but it was the 5th highest bar. And now the edge went red. And then you just got an acceleration down on this chart from this area right here at 1045 all the way to 1215. Now, can you imagine what a 5-minute chart looked like from 1045 to 1215? Lots of little red and green bars as it moved along. By using our wick bar, you've filtered out all the noise and you just stay in your trade. You don't get influenced by the noise. There's never been any part of this that even really got a long wick out the top of our wick bar. Good, nice trade there. Lasted a couple of hours. That's trading instead of scalping, and that's what we've always said at day trader setups. Trade it, don't scalp it. Now, once the end of the day got here, you can see you did get a bounce back up to this level by the end of the day. That's not what we're trying to teach here. Just trying to show you the indicators and give you an idea a little bit about insight to the edge that you haven't had so far. Now we've looked at several of the indicators or discussed that's on this chart, and I want you to go back to the 3 algo chart. It's the top of the page in the products page that discusses this indicator here, discusses the last zone plot, discusses this projection shift here. All that's covered in that other video. What's not on the other video is the cloud lines, which we're going to teach in a lot more detail, but we've been in your trading and training series. I trade off the cloud all the time, and I'm referencing the yellow line. I'm looking for flat spots in the cloud. I'm looking out here, what this cloud's telling me going forward. I'm pulling back to either this cloud area or this cloud area. This cloud is plotted yellow and dark yellow. The dotted lines, which you see here climbing up, is a white line with it as well, or a reference point, because the yellow dotted line is telling you where this cloud is as you run into it right here. This is a yellow dotted line right under a white dotted line. They happen to be in sync right here. And you got the pullback. You're pulling back into your trend shift zone that hasn't turned red yet, and it held this line. Now, is it going to hold it and run up here? I don't know. It may just run slightly and turn around and come back down and take this out. Another thing about the cloud is the thinner the cloud, the less the support or resistance area. It can slice right through it. A big thick cloud can take longer to get through. because that is your resistance area when you get into the cloud itself that your current candles are in. And then the pink line takes this another level. We've got the flat cloud here. The yellow dotted line is telling you the current cloud to the right, and the pink line is telling you the cloud back behind you, which was this part. This cloud back here, when this pink line got down and started plotting right across here, is telling you the bottom of this cloud. So it's giving you lots of inflection points and support areas. You can have a pink line way down here be trading down, and maybe the pink line has shifted itself back up, but that area can still be a support or resistance area. So that's all the indicators that's on this, other than the key level markers we hadn't discussed yet. That's these arrows. Now it's just a plot to bring to your attention when you're arriving at these yellow and white lines. This white line, you can see the white line slightly come out from behind that right there. There's a white line, a white dotted line. I'll go back in the chart and find it where you can see it more predominant, like here. Here's the white line. The white line is the baseline. It's over in the side. The A line is the blue line. The B line is the yellow line. And the baseline is the white line. That's part of the calculations that are creating that right side cloud. And many times it can be a support or resistance. If you got a big down cloud, you can run up and sometimes reverse back and then go again. This lag line is where your current candles are in reference to the old candles. That can be turned off if you don't want to see that on your chart. It's generally behind you multiple bars, so it's generally not in your vision of what you're trading now. Remember, I've slid back some, that's why it's here now. What these arrows are marking are the dotted lines, this line, the pink line. As this came up, it's telling you you're trading up into this inflection point, and it marks it on the chart. The reason it's red pointing down doesn't mean it's a short. It means that you're coming from the bottom into the line. It's a possible short area, and in this case it certainly was. The value of that pink line is 95.58. The high of this bar right here was 95.58 to the penny. And if you've been watching some of our videos studying our system, how many times have I showed you highs to the penny either on our cloud lines or on our inflection lines? This is a super strong trading package and system. To the penny to that line. What's that line referencing? It's referencing this flat cloud back here behind you. That's still resistance, or can be, and carried it forward, so it'd be there for you. And this dot of this algo plot was precisely the value on the, it was exactly that level. And at that time, that would show in the current. And that's part of what we teach in the other video is if our algo dot lines up on one of these lines and you want to take a short and you say, I don't believe it's going to make another dot, then you strictly, all you got to do is look right here. You say, okay, I got my current line lined up, my current last algo plot precisely with the dot. I don't believe it's going to make another dot up, so where's my stop? We teach you about what this is telling you. This is telling you the next dot up. This is telling you the next dot down. So right here, the next dot up was listed to the penny in the GZR alert box. That's your stop. That's what that's for. Even if you turn these dots off as far as invisible, not to see them, that's still there and it's still correct. Now, on this particular chart, I would try to see through the dots and allow them to stay on the chart because they can give you so much information. Sometimes you go down and you break below the line. It don't have to land precisely on it, but when it does, like here, see how strong that is? This reversed right off that line. Here, it lined up, hit the line. It hit the current cloud right here and reversed. It's back there again. All we're drawing the key level markers for, we put them red because it is a possible inflection to go down, but we put them in red and above you so that you can see them. If they're down here in the middle of the cloud, you can't see them. So if we're trading down into a line, we'll mark them with a green up, and if we're trading up into the line, we mark them with a red down. These can also be scanned for. This also puts the arrows on two charts in one for you. If you see an arrow and you do not see a line that you're on at that time, like right here maybe, you can go to the VLST chart, and it's doing the same thing. It has the plots on the lines, but if you get to the VLST and you find an arrow and there's no line, it's marking a line on the VL on this chart. This indicator marks both clouds on one chart. So on the 19th right here, as this is climbing up, it's got this arrow here and there's no line. This is at 9:55 in the morning. On the 19th at 9:55 in the morning, look at here what you got. Hit this line. So if you were using the VLST chart and you were viewing it and you're like, okay, am I trying to break out here? Let's zoom in a little bit on this 19th. You're in your mind, can I break out through this cloud? Is this going to be a big run? And you've got this arrow pointing down and you're like, what in the heck is that? It's telling you there's a line either on the VLST or the VL chart. It plots the arrows on both charts. The VLST is going to show you VL and VLST. The VL is going to show you VLST and VL. So if you see this, it's telling you to go look at your other chart. If you don't have a line there, you jump over on your other chart, and there you are. It's marking that line on that other chart for you. Strong, strong indicators called key level markers. This chart's loaded with indicators. It's more for reference, so since you're not actually on it trading it, it can be cluttered and you can get used to looking through it. Anything you want to get rid of, you can. I wouldn't remove them. I'd always make them invisible. If I mark both of these STSAlgo plots, one's the dash, one's the dot, if I change them to invisible and apply it, your dots just went away. That's all that happened. Dots came back. So that's just the dots plotted. No lines between them. This was the line part. Brings it back in. If you don't want to see the blue and yellow bands, make them invisible. They're gone. The marker, there's no reason to turn that off. It's not in your way. That's this up in this left-hand corner. The last zone is turned off. It's discussed heavily in the STS 3 algo indicator, so go up there to learn about that. Trend shift pivot zone, that's this box out here. It's telling you what's going to take to turn this green line red or red line green, and you can learn more about it in that 3 algo chart template video as well. We've covered our price tracker is only the blue line giving you current price. The bid ask is giving you a spread in the bottom hand corner. The edge we talked about in pretty good detail. And then this is our force 1 indicator. We put the label on that. It's still a force 1 indicator. We just added this label so you'll know what your template name is. And then we have the cloud on here 3 different times. That's what creates all these different plots. You don't want to mess with those. You don't want to turn them off. If you want to turn them off, you don't need to be using the chart. There's no reason to use the chart if you're not looking at the cloud. The key level markers we discussed in detail. Don't change the settings. If you want to turn them off, you can make them invisible. You can turn off those arrows. I wouldn't see a reason to do that either. The reversal, that's your blue diamonds. So a lot of people do turn that off. That's understandable. Don't have to be on the chart. And most people do eventually turn those off once they learn about the candlesticks more. And then we have the volume alert at the bottom. There's really no reason to turn it off either. So that's all the indicators that are on here. And we're going to show you how to build this chart from scratch. And then we spend a lot of time on the trading and training series looking at the faster day trading cloud. But we will spend time looking at these deeper videos as well for swing trading and so forth. These are big resistance. I'll take this cloud and I'm long Apple and it's running up and it's about to hit one of these lines. I'm going to be cautious that it's going to reverse, especially if the cloud looks like this on the right hand side. I know that it's most likely going to reverse. We'll teach you more about that on actually trading the cloud and interpreting it. But that's everything that's on this cloud. The next video on the VLST is going to be very short because it's almost the same settings. It's just a different level of support resistance because it's a longer term cloud. It's like looking at if you're a moving average person, it's like looking at a 50-period moving average versus an 8. It's a bigger look back to another support level. You can be pulling down into this cloud and bouncing, and at the same time you may have the 50 cloud way up here in a huge uptrend, and it pulls back and it might be bouncing off its white line on way up here on a big cloud. So they intertwine together. The two together can show you a lot of things. I'm going to show you how to make this from scratch, which is pretty short. Had to go back and insert this in the video in case it seems out of whack. Scanners related to the cloud. You got Algo B 25 clouds. This is scanning the cloud levels. It's all based on a 25 cloud. The lag cloud is your pink line. And it also has a VLST in here as well. It'll scan both, but you can select which one you want to scan. They're just all built into this one scan tab. So it's the 25 settings of VLST clouds. Your current cloud, and then your right side cloud. It'll scan when it's at the cloud. No reversals, no anything else, just at the cloud. Then you have another one all pre-built to the 50 input algos. So that's for bigger setups, longer outlook, and that kind of thing. And you can choose the ones that you wish to look at there as well. Now by at the cloud, I'm talking about the B line. This is the right side B line. This is the current cloud B line. And the pink is the previous cloud back behind you B line. So like right here, this represents the flat spot back here. Where it's dropping down to now is about to represent, you're looking for flat areas where things level out and remain the same a while. See, right now, this is the right side B, or was at the point in time the cloud was coming here. It was also, the current happened to be the same at that point in time. And then the pink was in the arrears. As we move forward, you see that bounce off there? It was both together, which is not super common, but it's not super rare. And the next time it came through there, it lost it. So it doesn't mean it's 100% going to hold. It's an inflection point. Now, you can run the reversals off those inflection points. I'm going to come back to these right here. These are pattern reversals. First, I want to step over to the twist. This is the short ATS short-term trend cloud. Much smaller, running off the wick bar. It's nothing but the twist on the cloud. It's a 25, a 50, and a 100 in here, and it will set alerts as the twist occurs. But it's not this slower cloud. It's the faster cloud that you see a lot in the training and training series videos. It's when the twist occurs. What is the twist? The twist is right here, when the blue crosses the yellow in either direction. It's kind of a pre-alert. If you're getting a cross, you may be running up and got the cross, along in here. But you could also get the pullback. If you get the twist and then you get the pullback, this is a great setup. If you got the stronger cloud, maybe a thicker cloud here is even better, and you pull back into that line for a bounce. So we'll learn more about reading the clouds, but that's what you're scanning for. Now, even beyond that, the key level markers. This one will only tell you it's at, and these were written as markers for the charts, so they're all in one indicator: a long bounce VLST, a long bounce VL level. That doesn't mean it's going to bounce. That means if it was a long bounce, then it was coming down into, that made the green arrow. That's all the reason it's called long bounce. It's falling into the line from above, so it defines it as going to have a green arrow, and it's all the levels in one indicator. So we get the pink line, the yellow dotted line, the yellow line on the right side, or even the white line that we talked about earlier as a baseline of the cloud. All of those are in this one indicator. There's no separating them. They're just built to mark the charts. So this is a scanner that'll tell you that you're coming into those levels. This scanner is key level marker 25 only. Reversals, blue diamond reversals, with volume or without is how these are set up inside of here. You got it at the level, but it's bouncing. It's not just coming to the level. It's now created a reversal bar. So it was coming into the long bounce level, which can be any one of those lines, and it's closed a reversal bar. Does that mean it's 100% going to reverse and go back up? Or could it possibly make 2 or 3 wiki bars sideways and continue down? It can do either one. But it can't reverse until it creates a reversal bar. So that's the alert that the reversal bar has completely closed. And now let's see what's going to happen. So right here would have been an alert on the line that it reversed. You can do it with volume even, that it will only alert you if it had a reversal candle and it had at least a 5-bar high volume. Okay, now I'm going to back up to those other. First, I went a little bit further to the right. Here's a cloud twist pre-watch. This is the standard cloud, not the fast one running off the wick bar. The multi-day one runs off the wick bar, so it's a faster paced cloud. This is actually a cloud pre-twist pre-watch off the 25 VL, VLST clouds on a 50 or a 25. These are created with our STSAlgo plot, not the faster ATS wick plot. So it's the standard clouds that you see in the VL and VLST charts. And the alerts We call it a bull twist if A is crossing B to the upside and the blue line is now going to be above the yellow line. That's a bull twist, and it's broke down, and it defines it for you. Right side B cloud. That's A crossing right side B cloud. It's always a right side B if it's a twist. So it's a bull twist 25 VL, 25 VL ST. You've got the 50 VL, the 50 VL ST. So if you're looking for some setups that you can plan ahead, that's what this is for. And if you're running a 25 VL twist on LUV that takes multiple days to make multiple bars, then this is a swing trade type. Or the 50 on a medium ATR stock, or even a little bit higher. So these can be used in a lot of ways there, planning to go back and look. Now, can one just twist and then twist back? Certainly. This twisted down and twist back up. It's a higher pace stock, but this same twist and twist back down could be happening on another stock over multiple days. You'll learn to where you understand. Here's your perfect twist. This twisted right here is where the blue dotted line came through the yellow line. That's right there. That's when that occurred. The blue got through the yellow, and it's still rising right here. This is where the blue is right now, right out to the side. So you would have just got this twist alert as this was falling here. Now it's running off of the algo plot. That's the dots. So when this dot plotted here, you'd have got that twist alert right in this area. So that's what that does. Okay, there's 5 more. There's a ATS Wick 10 cloud pattern reversal. That is a cloud calculated by the ATS 10 bar, so it's a faster paced than the algo plots, but it's on a very small ATR stock. This is for your little low price stocks. Then you have an ATS Wick B25 cloud pattern reversal. That is the ones you're seeing a lot in the trading and training video as they reverse off the B lines clouds. And then there's a 25 Algo B cloud pattern reversal, and that's the cloud we've been looking at right here. This is an Algo cloud. It says ATS Cloud VL ST, but it's plotted by the data series of STS Algo. When we don't have the algo on the chart and we got the cloud, then it's calculating off the wick bar. And then there's another for the 50 wick bar and the 50 standard STS Algo bar. So there's 5 different scanners in here, or scan tabs. And what they're scanning for is the reversal only off of 2 lines, where the KL, the key level marker, the arrows is off of yellow here, yellow dotted line here, pink line, as well as the white dotted line. This is only concentrating on 2 levels. It's the right side B. So when you come back down and you reverse off a right side B cloud, whether it doesn't matter where the cloud's calculated or not. I'm trying to see if I can pick one up here. It won't pick up this. This is a pink line back behind us. That's calculated off of. It was this big flat spot in this cloud, and the candles came down and bounced off of that. And this is where you learn what this lag line is about. When you bounce off the pink line, is when your candles themselves are bouncing off the pink, it's just telling you that the lag line, where it is, that's what the pink is. The lag line is the same place your candles are up here, and it's bouncing off that cloud. That's huge right there. So when these pull back and they bounced off this nice flat pink line, that tells you that's where the cloud used to be. So these scanners are bouncing off of either this yellow dotted line, which represents that right side cloud, so when the candles are exactly there, or the cloud itself, which is this actual stronger yellow line, is this yellow line of the current cloud. It's the only two things that these are scanning for. Reversals, and it's a reversal, so it's turned. It's created a wick bar of the same brick size, closed like a blue diamond reversal off one of those B lines, the current cloud or the right side cloud, B line only, and this is a pattern reversal because we got alerts built in here two ways. One is strictly the bounce off the B line, no matter what the right side cloud is. The other alternate way to scan for it is it's only bouncing off the B line, and the cloud to the right is long bias. So if you're coming down bouncing to go up, the blue line out here would have to be greater than the B line. If it's coming up reversing, it'll only be that it's like this. It has to be that the right side cloud is either bullish or bearish. Now, it can't measure how far apart they are, how big the cloud is, but it can put you on the chart at the right time for a high probability setup. But it has the option to do with this as a part of the conditions or without. A lot of stuff being covered here on these scanners and on the cloud. This is a must-watch video, probably more than one time. First thing we need to do to make this chart from scratch is look at the data series and see what the settings are. It's a 25 STSAlgo set to 600 bars. This is really important on these cloud charts. You've got to get enough data to draw the lines. Now, if you load up a smaller ATR stock and it don't show you very much at all, you're on too big a chart. You need to be on a smaller chart. Also, if you're trying to load these charts intraday, you stumble across a stock that you have not been watching, and especially if it's a lower ATR stock as well, it will only go back 8 days of tick data to load your chart, which may not be, most likely will not be near enough to give you the plots you need to have. If there's a stock you're interested in watching today, maybe you saw something last night about it or yesterday, you need to load that in the pre-market hours or after hours. I would wait till after about 4:40 because they do a data update at IQ Feed, which is the same as Kinetic as well. And then those all that stuff's in the files. And then in the morning you can load it. I wouldn't be trying to load it at 9:24. The market starts to get pretty busy. I try to load it maybe before 9 o'clock and then reload it. Load that chart and then right click on the chart and reload all historical data. Load it twice because you want to get a complete chart. And once you start trying to chart something in the middle of the day that you forgot about, you're not going to get a complete chart. It's only going to go back 8 days. It goes back 180 days on tick data outside regular trading hours. So that's why you need to do that. And you can use your new symbol data load. Even if you have a 100 symbol account with Kinetic, you can load 90 symbols in your new symbol data load. Load those up over the weekend or at night, reload them, and then disconnect, reconnect. Well, first, before you disconnect, take the symbols out of the new symbol data load. Have it empty. Disconnect, reconnect, and then load up another symbol list into that new symbol data load. You don't want to load over about 100 symbols anyway, because it's a big process of calculating all those columns to get you this data that you need for these charts. That's how you can stay up to date. You can do that, set it up for 100 symbols, walk away, go cook dinner, get your shower, watch TV, whatever you want to do, come back through 30 or 40 minutes later, empty your new symbol data load, disconnect from your connection with your 100 symbol feed, reconnect, and load you another 100 symbols. Now, if you're on an IQ feed account with 500 symbols, you don't have to disconnect, but you still need to unload your symbols, those 100, and load 100 more in, and it'll start loading, and you can go away for another 45 minutes and let it load all that history for you. Then when you want to pull up charts, you've got ever how many you've been loading, you've got that history. If you did that once a week, you'll be in good shape because you're going back the 8 prior days. Okay, we got to have STSAlgo loaded 25, 600 bars, regular trading hours. This will default. Make sure it's in there. And auto scale's fine. Go to the bottom, do not plot. Then you add your other STS wick. You're going to show this 600 bars as well. Regular trading hours. And remember, 600 bars of this is only 300 bars of this, because these end up being half size, even though they're set to the same brick size. But they're enough to see what you need to see for trading. That's the reason they're on the chart. Again, do not plot. So we're going to create a new chart by selecting New in the Control Center. Go into Chart. We're going to pick a symbol. I'll pick a different one. We'll go down here to STZ. We got our 25 algo loaded. It won't always load by default. The last thing you load is what's going to load. So you may have to select, maybe it's on minutes for, I don't know what your last thing you loaded, but you select here, STSAlgo at the bottom, put your 25 factor in. You want to go bars, 600, regular trading hours. I know you can't see the menu. It's way at the bottom, last item. Do not break it into day. And set do not plot. Add another one. Same symbol always. This time we want to go to the ATS wick. We want to change the brick size to match the algo at 25. We want 600 bars. We want regular trading hours from the bottom. We do not want this box checked. We do not want a new panel. We want the same panel, so it's going to be number 1 where we're adding this at. They'll be together. And do not plot. Okay. Here's our new chart. It's loaded up. And now we're going to apply our template. I want you to notice something. See this marker out here? That's the current price. We do not show that because we want our labels on our levels to be shown. That's why we have that blue box in the corner giving you the price. And when we load the template, it's going to go in and modify the data series, what's on the template, and that'll be gone. So we're going to right click, templates, load, and then your cloud and inflection area or your backups. You have your 0 ATS Cloud VL. Remember, we told you why we named it that, so it'll be at the top of this list. And we're going to load it. And there you have your chart. And you see the black line is not over here anymore. We got our area up here. So it does modify other things that were included in a data series is saved into this template. You can see on this particular chart how this chopped around down here. This yellow thing I don't really use. It's a standard deviation oversold at a point, and then it starts to make a reversal. It is in the plots here. You can turn the yellow one off. You don't see it very often. You can turn it off by going down to the key level markers, unchecking the standard deviation. It's real complicated how it was created, but the level is set to the size of the chart. That part's not complicated. And you hit apply, and that yellow arrow just went away because I removed that from the chart. The clouds are here. You see the big levels. You see how this was breaking down on the trend shift pivot. It turned red to green. It went back and did some retracements here. And look at your retracement. Went right to the top of the cloud. It's down below it. And soon after that, in this early morning, the blue line crossed the yellow dotted line. That's what's happening right here. To your right, you'll see that on this chart out here. So right about here, when you're looking and you're failing this level, this flat spot in this cloud, very early in the morning, out to your right, you're seeing that this twist is what I call this. This is the twist. It's happening out here. So it's getting short biased, and you can see here you're losing the level, and boy, what a sell-off you got. And look what you also got. You got the edge come in extremely strong right here, and then it maintained it. If you're in a trade and this edge is strong, it don't have to run very long, but boy, when it does, you got a huge trade working, and just try to stay with it. Also, look at your dots. This is a chance to see why I have the yellow and blue bands on the chart. And the dots. When you can get these dots below the bands, you're in a very assertive move. And you want to try to ride this as long as you can. Especially when you got this going along with you. And you can see along the way, 5-bar high volume, 10-bar high volume, 5-bar high volume. Then you got 2 10 bars in a row. A lot of volume came in here. When you start getting multiple bars in a row, you may be getting near the end of your trade. You finally start running out of sellers at a point. Thanks for watching our video. Continue studying. And any questions, be sure to email us at support@daytradersetups.com. This video is brought to you by Active Trader Setups Tutoring Reference Series, where we're dissecting the components of each chart and all the indicators that are shown on the charts and how to read them and what they're intended to inform you about. Be sure to watch the complete series on any other chart templates you need information on, as well as be sure to tune in to our Trading and Training series, where we'll be looking at real-time setups on the charts as they progress through the day, and you start to learn to recognize how you're applying all these indicators to your trading. We're taking the charts and the indicators and learning how they apply to real-time trading and reading the charts. That's the Trading and Training series. We're putting that out 2 to 3 times a week during the week, and then also on the weekends we're going to have a weekend chart talk video that goes into many more charts that showed up throughout the week, and mainly concentrating on the cloud setups and the ATS inflection charts. Thanks again for watching our video. Learn more about our trading package at activetradersetups.com.